So let's finish up our title animation. You can see the animation that we're copying here. The yellow rectangle comes up and reveals the bottom text as the top piece of text reveals itself through a mask rising up to the top. The second part, we'll see the bottom text in the rectangle shift up. Rectangle gets a little bit bigger. The top text replaces the bottom text, and after it does that, the rectangle will then expand and wipe it off. So let's get started in After Effects. So here we are. We have a purple rectangle that slides in, collapses. We see the text rise up. It's going to sit there for a second, and now what we want to do is complete this animation. So we'll do each one at a time. Let's start with the rectangle that we have. We want the rectangle to shift up, and it gets a little bit bigger. So we're going to begin that animation. Our text is going to sit for 1 second from 3 to 4 seconds. So at 4 seconds, we're going to begin our animation that's going to take everything back off the screen. So we'll start with position. Now if I go to position and I click on the stopwatch, it will remove the keyframes that I already have. So in order to add more, I will come over to the keyframe, and with my playhead at 4 seconds, I will click, and that will set a new keyframe that basically says from 1 until 4 that I don't want any changes to be made. And now I want this to happen rather quickly, so I will go halfway between 4 and 5, and I'm going to watch that rectangle slide up. It's also going to scale at the same time, so clicking on the keyframe next to scale at 4 seconds, let's see that slide up, and it's going to get a little bit bigger as it goes along. Now the Minuteman will slide with it, so I'll take my playhead back to 4, collapse that shape layer, and go down to Minuteman. I just need to move Minuteman up. So I haven't created any keyframes in the Minuteman now at this position. So I am going to actually click on the stopwatch for position, set a keyframe here, and then move over to where that is. And I can see now I want to slide the position of my Minuteman up about just below the top of where that rectangle is. So those two things will slide at the same time. Same time that's happening, putting my playhead back to 4, let's expand Lexington. Lexington's going to replace Minuteman, so its position is going to change. Now I have position here for the reveal, but I actually want to go down to the transform and change that position. So I'm going to click on a stopwatch there, move out to 4.5, and set that position down toward the bottom of the rectangle. At the same time, it gets a little bit smaller. So let's do the same thing with scale and click on the stopwatch for scale, and we're going to make the scale a little bit smaller for Minuteman. So I have that first piece where everything shifts. Now we're going to see the rectangle expand across. It's going to wipe across. Everything else here is really done with the rectangle. So let's open up that shape. And we will be working on scale first, so it's going to scale back out. So here we are at scale. So let's come out here to about 5.5, and I'm only going to scale my X value. I'm going to scale that out. Let's see what happens here. It's going to hit that and start scaling across. Good. And then about at 5 seconds, I want that to be completely covering my text. I'm going to change its position here. So click on a new keyframe for position. Wrong way. And let's start taking that off the screen. Actually grab my arrow pointer, and if I hold down my shift key, it'll keep that level as that's moving across. Let's go back. You see here. Right, so at about 6, that's where I want that to be off. So let's set the keyframe there, and then we'll drag that off the screen. Let's see what that does. Grows up, and it's going to slide that across. Good. Now when it gets to about right there, my little magic trick, I don't need to see my text anymore. Hit minus on my keyboard to get to the edge here. Both my text layers can now be done. So I don't need to see them anymore. So once it gets to here, they will be gone. And so as this wipes away, boom, they're gone. Home, space, slide in. Hope you have fun with that animation. I look forward to seeing yours.